Hello and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And we are a merry and whimsical board gaming podcast where we dive deep into games with a curious mind and, of course, a jester's grin. We feature 10 by 10 challenges where each season we commit to playing 10 games at least 10 times and sometimes much more. Today, we'll be featuring a Jester's Gambit deep dive into the game White Castle, which is the game that I got Dave for his birthday.
I love
You're just going to keep plugging that. I'm like, as long as we talk about White Castle, it's going to be plugged. Yes.
You did choose it. So almost a year ago. No, not quite. It hasn't been.
Yeah, not quite, because it has
over a year and a half at this point. We thought it'd be fun to create a list of games, and then we each picked 3 from that list for each other. Then it'd be a surprise. So I gave you a list of, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 games.
I think we both did a list of 10.
A list of 10.
And we both had to pick 5 or something.
Right. So what was it about White Castle that you decided, I'm going to get this game out of Dave's list? I flipped it around on you.
Oh no, how would you feel if I was all like, because it was the cheapest on the list?
I would believe you. So when I was selecting the list, I wanted to be cost conscious. I didn't want to have like out of print, like Roads and Boats type
Oh my God.
$250+ games. No. So I tried to put a wide range of price points on there to be respectful, you know. And I saw it and I was like, is it because she thinks the artwork is beautiful or because it was the least expensive? Either way, I don't care.
So I picked it because I remember that I had seen it when I was like scrolling. And I saw the photos, I saw the bridges, I saw the dice, and I was like, oh, so cute. I'm still that way in my core. So I was like, I want this one. This one's cute. I like it. And of course I love like anything that has an Asian theme, just because, you know, your girl's Filipina. So I just love that, like, nostalgic for me. So because we do have like Asian temples in the Philippines that resemble Japanese temples.
Oh, cool.
And so in the game, the bridges and stuff from the images that I had seen reminded me of some of the places that I had visited in the Philippines. We also, in the Philippines, not that this has anything to do with White Castle, but since we're on the topic, and here
I'm
we
here
are,
for the journey.
We have a little Amsterdam. No, it's
Really?
not like where you go to restaurants and get whatever you can in Amsterdam. You can't Amsterdam in Little Amsterdam, okay? But Little Amsterdam has like a theme of it, and it's super cute. We had gone the most recent time that I had gone, and it's cool. I have pictures.
Nice.
There's like a little windmill. It's their interpretation.
I like windmills.
Amsterdam. Me too.
But no windmills of White Castle.
No. And then, since we're just talking about that most recent trip with all the things that you could see there, they also have, at the Japanese temple that they have, there is a wishing well. But the wishing well is slightly different. It's not particularly like here where you throw a coin in, you know? I don't know how to explain it. But my mom was like, oh, this is the wishing well that I wished for you in.
Really?
Yeah, so I got to go visit.
And then it came true.
Yeah, so here I am, guys.
Then did you wish for me at the wishing well? That's when I came into the picture.
The thing I wished for would be sad, and people would be like, "Aw." So I'll tell you.
It was a guinea pig. That's what it was.
It was a guinea pig.
You're
like, it was Philip, wasn't it? And I'm all like, Philip? I didn't even know Philip back then. I'm like, I wish to swim with that saltwater croc
Philip
that my
crow,
family wouldn't let me swim with. Yeah, Philip is the crow. Did I tell you that Philip brought his family to come eat little
today?
Snacks? And no, I think they brought me a bone too, but I haven't gone and looked at it. I just saw it, but it was like raining, so I didn't go over to pick it up. But it was by my door.
Well, there you have it. We have our Philip update for the
week. But so to White Castle. If you're new to our Jester's Gambit, we start with the first impression, and the first impression is of the game. So like what it looks like, why we chose it, just kind of those fine details.
Yeah,
and
the components as we unpack the game and stuff.
Yeah. And then we go into a first playthrough of the game, and that literally is exactly what it sounds like. We play the game, and then we come back and we discuss how our first actual play of the game went. And then we play it at least 9 more times, sometimes more. I think so far Wormspan was the first one we played more.
12.
Yeah. For season 4. There's been other ones that we've played more, but
will this one make it to 13?
Right.
We'll see. We should just keep going up each game we play. This one we're going to get to 19, and then
for
after
the rest
that,
of this
20.
season, you're like, no, forever.
Could you do a 100 by 10 challenge? You play 10 games 100 times.
I don't know. Yeah, we could do Azul. We could do Dominion.
Oh,
You're
true.
Like,
It'd be
no, we need the
San
big
Juan.
games.
Bring back.
San Juan. Anyways, so then that third section is just final thoughts. What we learned, what we experienced, what changed as we dive into that portion of the Jester's Gambit. But yeah, that's kind of how our episodes for our Gambits go.
That's what we
if
do.
You're new, here we are. Yeah. So why we chose, and I say we, even though I mean that I forcefully applied.
Was it you who said let's do a birthday game next?
Yeah, I was the one that strongly suggested.
It was my turn because we played one birthday game. Feast for Odin was a game I got you, which was, I would say, very successful. So that's what we should do. The competition is, out of the 3 games we got each other, whoever, but then knowing this, it might sway your opinion, but whoever gifted the most Keep It to Play or Jester's Shelf nominee, whatever we phrase it as, will win the game. Not who wins the game, but if we keep the game, then that person gets a point. Who gifted it?
For what? I
don't know. Bragging rights?
Bragging, if you want bragging rights in the gift department, that's okay. I'll have bragging rights in the win department. Okay.
So if we end up loving and keeping White Castle, then we'll be 1-1, and then we'll do the next birthday one, and then I don't know that we'll get a chance to finish the birthday games in this season, but we'll see.
Yeah. So anywho, that's why we picked White Castle,
and I'm very excited. And I put it on the list to have you gift it to me initially because it's a game I've seen around a while. I think it came out in 2023. So not super new, but pretty new. And I've seen a lot of pictures. It's always stood out to me because it has these bridges. And when I was getting out of the box, like putting those together kind of felt like I got a modeling kit or something.
Okay.
Not very skilled in that department, but
you did.
Was able to construct the bridges, which aren't necessary to the game, by the way. It even says in the rulebook, it's like, you don't need these to play the game. So if you want, you can play without them, but it looks cool. Like you have it set up on the table. It has this 3D element, and then there are dice that go on the bridge. And when I got the components out, the dice are like pretty significantly sized. I was impressed.
Was this the game where somebody weighed all the dice?
Oh, I saw, right? On BGG, there was analysis. Somebody super went into the testing of the dice because I guess the dice can be skewed based on the weight of the pips. And this person did this super in-depth analysis testing, and there were some deviations, but it was pretty minor. And this person found that the dice in White Castle is a pretty well-balanced set of dice. So there you have it. I've always thought the game looks cool because we're both a fan of Euro games that feature dice. We've loved Castle Burgundy, Bora Bora, others that aren't coming to mind. And so I wanted it for that reason. And I didn't really know much about the game beyond that. I haven't watched a review or anything. I just saw the game and thought, I want to try this. So I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to take a chance in the dark that we're going to like this game. And then we receive it, or you gifted it to me. It sat on the shelf for a while. I got it out. First impression with the box. I love the box size.
Yes.
Because we've played a lot of games where the box takes up an unnecessary amount of room for the stuff that comes in the box. There's just something impressive when a game this size can manage to fit in such a small space.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot in here. So I unpacked it all. It looks beautiful on the table. I'm like really excited to get into it. Yeah. What are your thoughts just looking at the game?
It's so pretty. I love how all the different meeples are different symbols. They aren't all the same, like generic meeple. Like they have character to them, which make them so cute. And then there's like this little bird one. You're like, wait, are you about to say you like the bird? I'm like, no.
I appreciate
that it's a crane.
Why?
I appreciate the bird. Why?
You respect the crane?
Well, okay. I like this one time.
Oh, here we go. Here's the story.
So, okay. So
if you've never known somebody who had a story with a personal encounter with a crane, you're about to get one.
Okay, so Wisconsin, we have sandhill cranes and blue herons, right? And I'm sure we have other birds that are similar, but the story involves those two birds. And there was one across the way, like across the road. And I was like, oh, look, a sandhill crane. And then the other person was just like, no, that's a blue heron. And I said, no, it's a sandhill crane. And they were like, it's a blue heron. And I was just like, no. So then they offered, okay, let's run up on it. And I said, okay. So then we were getting closer to it. I was wrong. But we got very, very close to a blue heron. That was not a sandhill crane.
And then I found $5.
And then I found $5 for those who stopped listening. No. Okay. So So now every time like I see a crane, I just remember the bet I lost.
Well, are you going to lose this bet? That's the...
We never made a bet. I never agreed to the bet. So in turn, it's not a bet. I agreed to that bet because I really thought it was a sandhill crane. But yeah, the crane's super cool. I like the fish statue.
Oh, it's a round marker. That thing is massive.
That's what that is?
That's all it is a round marker.
Oh, well, you definitely cannot question the round.
The best round marker I've ever seen in a game. Usually it's just like a disc.
Yeah. I like that. Of course, I love the bridges. I love that the dice match the bridge color. That's super cute. Instead of just giving you like 3 generic bridge colors, they match the die to it. Mm-hmm. So that's cute. And then all the art's really pretty. Yeah, I think it's a gorgeous game to look at. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I just know it's beautiful.
After I set it up and read through the rules, I thought, I'm really excited to play this game. I'm making a prediction. I think we're really going to like this one.
I think you're right.
Because I gifted it to you for your birthday.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, let's go play the game.
Let's go try it.
Yeah, and we'll come back after trying it and we'll explain what the game actually is about once we know.
Once we figure it out, yeah.
And then we'll talk about the first experience learning it, and then come back after that about our overall experience playing the White Castle.
Yeah, let's get into it then. And we are back after our first play of White Castle. So, Dave, you want to start us off with how you felt about it?
Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to start out by trying to explain it's almost a game. We try to see who we're going to designate as the person to have to explain what it is. Or would you like me to explain the game, and then we can talk about what we thought?
For this one, you can explain it because I played it and I did the actions, but I don't necessarily know what to really call anything yet. So if I explained it right now, it'd be really confusing.
And I don't remember off the top of my head some of the different resources and stuff, so apologies in advance. But the main idea of the game is it is a dice drafting worker placement type game, I would say, is a pretty good accurate description. Resource management.
Okay.
I would say dice drafting because, I'll just explain the way the game works. There's 3 bridges in a 2-player game, there are 3 dice, but it goes up depending on the number of players. And on your turn, all you do is you take one of the dice from either sides. So the low dice will be on the left side and then the highest die will be on the right. And then you take that and you put it on an applicable action spot where you can place it. And each of the action spots has a pip value that's printed on the action spot. And if the die that you place is less than the value that shows on the action spot, you have to pay coins equal to the difference. If it's more, you actually gain coins from it. And then the action spots themselves will do things like let you gather different resources. It'll trigger some bonuses that you have on your main player board. But then there are 3 kind of areas where you have workers from your board that'll go out into those areas and trigger either ongoing bonuses, endgame scoring, and then also some cards that will go then to your player board. So I think that was a pretty concise summary. But the main thing is that the game is only 3 rounds. You're trying to get points. And then there's also this turn order track, and then that can give you points at the end of the game as well. And you actually have to pay when you meet certain thresholds, which is something that we had talked about recently with a couple of games where we like that, where you reach a certain point and then in order to continue up the track, you have to pay a cost in order to do that. The main thing though, the game is only 3 rounds long and each round consists of 3 turns. So you only have 9 base actions in the entire game. There's ways to get bonuses and stuff, but that's kind of the main idea of the game. But what were your thoughts after just learning the game for the first play? How was it for you?
My thoughts are that I have to play it again because I feel like I failed myself with only getting 20 points.
You failed yourself?
Yes. You and I have developed this thing where we want to be or at least make the average score. And so we had Googled it afterwards and saw that, we were below average in our scoring. So I need to get more than 20 next time. So that's kind of my goal right now.
So the first thing we do, we wrap up the first game and you're like, okay, let me see what's a good score in this game because I don't know what to compare this to. You're like, what? I only got 20 and it says I need to get at least 50 to be a good score. And then that's your challenge.
40 to 50 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, so then that's my challenge, my self-challenge. You're like, thanks for making me feel like not a challenge. Okay. But that's just kind of what I personally like to do for every game. This game in particular, though, I did enjoy how I want to go back to it right away. I know that we came to record, but I kind of wanted to just go back to back because it feels like something that I am missing. And anytime I feel like I'm missing something, I need to sit and crack it.
It kind of had this sense of discovery where you feel like there's more, or I felt like there's more beyond the game than what I just saw within my first play of it, because on its surface it's a pretty straightforward dice placement, worker placement type game. There's 3 tracks of resources. You're just trying to gain resources, spend those on things, and then gain points at the end of the game. Seems simple. But the fact that there's only 9 actions, each turn is incredibly vital, it seems like, to be able to gain those points or do things that give you ongoing bonuses or give you more powerful turns in the future. And if you're not doing something efficiently, it seems like you're wasting turns. That's 1/9 of the entire game if you miss out on a good opportunity on a turn. I got to the end of it and then saw my incredibly low score and thought there's a lot of opportunity within this, I think, to maximize some of those bonuses or find creative ways to get bonus actions within it. So it's not just 9 actions, there's more within that. So that was my sense. It was like, okay, that was fun, but I'm obviously missing a lot just from taking pretty simple actions. There has to be more that I can do in this game to do well.
Yeah, I recognize that too, especially around the last couple moves. We finished the game and I was just thinking, if I would have noticed that initially, I think I would have had more points. And that's that I didn't utilize a lot of just kind of the actions, I guess, or spaces. I don't know what to really call them. The actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't utilize them in a way that would benefit me. It was more so I got distracted by collecting things because on
like the resources.
Yeah, because on your
the coins
board
and stuff.
Yeah, it shows like it's like, oh, you could get 2 points, 4 points, for collecting those resources. And so I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just collect these resources. And I'll never not need a resource, or I'll never need to find the resource because I'll have the resource.
Right.
But then I got to like the end of the game and I was just like, this was not beneficial.
It's a common thing for us. We play a game and we don't really know what's important, so we start grabbing things all the way down to the very before you take your first action in the game. You both, or all the players, will draft their beginning resources and then also a card that goes on the right hand side of your board, where whenever you do one of your board actions and can get bonuses, you also get the bonus of whatever card shows on the right, which you can get new cards by placing your workers into the castle and then moving up into the different levels of it. You can get actions from that too. So there's a lot of ways to collect stuff in this game, but I also think it seems evident to me that you're probably going to want to pick an area to focus in and collect resources that are beneficial for doing that and maybe ignore some other things. I do this in every game. I try to get a little bit of everything, and then you can't really specialize in anything because you just have like one here, you have one there, but you can get a lot of points by doing a lot of one thing in this game, it seems like.
Yeah. So I think moving forward, I do have some things that I want to try that I don't want to tell you about because I'm just like, no, I want to.
Did you already find a way to break the game somehow?
No, but I did figure out that there's rats in this game.
Metaphorical rats.
Your rats.
Right.
And if you're new and you're not familiar with rats, Dave, in Bruges, right? No, not Bruges. In
Notre Dame,
there was rats, and they were just very distracting. So now anytime there's distractions in a game, I just simply say, Dave's rats. And that's where that came from.
There are things that are put into the game to distract you. Like you think this is really important at first glance.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily as important as you would think.
Yeah, and I think that this game has rats. And I realized that when I took my 2 last moves, I was just like, nice. This is, yes. So that's why I wanted to play right away. But, then we had to come up. We were like, no, let's go get our first impressions.
Go record it.
And everything so that they're genuine. And it's just fair. That's fair. I'm just ready to go back in and try the game so that I can correct what I had perceived that I have failed at.
Wow. Well, and this game is fast too. I didn't record our first game, but even just the learning round was, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes.
No,
2
pretty
players.
good for us.
Fast.
Maybe it'll lengthen once we start looking at it a little differently.
I think so. We've played a few games like that where we blow through it the first game and then we realize what we're missing, and then future rounds we tend to slow down or we can get more out of a turn and getting all the bonuses. Like that's what you call my hamster wheel. That's another term we use a lot. I just go round and round and round and don't really accomplish anything, but I gather a lot of stuff and it feels good.
Do you gather stuff? I think you just use a lot of stuff.
I use a lot of stuff and gain very little.
Yes.
I use a lot of cards. My turns tend to drag out for a while.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then that's how you were just like, oh, my turns take forever, your turns take forever in Wormspan. And I was like, no, I'm literally gaining something from each time I move this up. It's different. It's not like me just laying down all these cards for 2 cards.
I'll just be taking my turn, do one little simple thing, and then it goes to you, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to move over here, and then that gives me this bonus, and then I get 5 coins from that, and then I can trade that in for 2 points, and then I can move over here. I'm like, how are you still going? How is this even possible?
I'm all like, I am now the tabloid master.
Wait, the tableau or tabloid? Tabloid master would be like paparazzi.
You know what? This is a new word to me. You're like, we've been using it for over a year. I'm like, it's still not in my vocabulary.
This game has a little bit of tableau building, with the cards that flip over, and then it gives you the bonus on the back every time you do the lantern? Yeah, the lantern action, which is every time you take a low value dice from the left side of the bridge, you get to trigger all of your lantern bonuses. And the more cards you flip over, the more bonuses you get. And then there's other places you go that also give you a lantern bonus. So I can see that being like a little hamster wheel. Like I want to build that up and then take those actions to get a lot of stuff, but then I have nothing to spend the stuff on. I'm not really doing anything in the game or in life.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find out. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I'm just like, I need to test it without you also trying to test it.
That's the whole point of these deep dives, is you can try all your weird strategies.
My weird strategies?
I guarantee you can play with the designers of any game and they'd be like, I've never seen somebody play this one before. We probably should have rethought how we designed this game.
I am that person that gets new rules made.
Yeah, exactly. At any job, you're the reason why policies exist.
Right, it's like no skateboarding in the hallway, and it's just like, why does this exist? And you're like, yes.
We didn't think we would need a policy to say you can't do this, but now I think we do.
Okay, well, we did have that one where we had gone to that one place that said no dogs, but I had brought Lupin, and you were like, well, most people don't bring cats.
They don't think to bring cats to the hiking trails.
Specify cat, and I was like, well, he's in his backpack. So
that's true.
He's not touching the trail or anything.
He posed less of a risk to the plants and everything.
Right. And I was like, if someone says something, I'll just say, hey, the sign said dog, so I was under the perception that it just couldn't be on the ground. So
that's really funny.
Yeah.
And mainly like predictions, I think, for this game. I think this is going to be a game that we end up liking a lot. And I think it's going to be one that we're going to enjoy exploring those different strategy areas that we can identify and seeing how much we can get out of the game. Or like, we're going to enjoy seeing how far we can push that score to feel like we've maximized those 9 turns.
Yes.
It'll be a challenge.
Can't wait. I need to get at least 50
rounds of the game?
No, 50 points.
I was like, wow, that's intense. Okay, we're up for an all-nighter again. I'm in for it.
That's okay.
Well, let's go play and a bunch more times. Then we'll come back and talk about our overall experience over those plays of at least 9 more and how it went.
Okay, sounds good to me. And we are back after 11 plays.
11.
Dave, you want to give us the stats?
So, over the course of 11 plays,
yes,
I won 7 times and you won 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that say?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's what it says. So I feel that maybe you had an advantage because it was kind of like a tableau building game.
Was it?
A little bit.
Is that just your excuse now? Your cop out? Oh, it was a tableau builder. That's why you won.
Right, exactly. It's just like, oh, it had a wheel. That's why you won. Just kidding. You didn't win at Wormspan, so I don't know if I could really use the wheel thing, right? I won at Wormspan. I can't remember. It's all bleeding together. But no, I don't know. I don't know what it wasn't. Oh, it's because you had to go first for a lot of things, too. You would wiggle your way with the bird. See, the birds are always against me. That's what I was saying. That's what I've been saying. Because the bird would allow you to go first. Even if I was player 1. Yeah, that's how you would get me. That's how I got. I would be player 1, which allowed you to pick the like better of the cards from the middle, right? Then you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just chill. Let's just have Julie go first. And then I go first the first round, right? But then in the first round, you're like, ha ha ha, birdie track. And then you go first, second, and third. The most crucial rounds. Well, just kidding. I feel like the first round's pretty crucial. But yeah.
You said that I won because you went first?
Yes.
So according to...
Okay.
According to the BGG,
okay,
or the board game stats that I recorded in here.
Fantastic.
The starting player won 70% of the time in this game. So how do you explain that?
I don't know, but I really do feel like I went first a lot. I went first like 4 games in a row. I feel like those stats.
Well, see, you started to say that, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll prove you wrong. I'll be the starting player, and then I won again.
Okay. What I mean to say is you took first from me. You had the advantage of the nicer cards, and then you would take it from me. So even when you were first player, you would still have the advantage of the first player.
I think you're running out of excuses here.
I don't.
Yeah, because when I wasn't the starting player, I'd find a way to move up that.
The crane.
We called it the birdie track. It was a crane track.
Yeah.
The passage of time, I think it was called. Move up that track, even just one bump. Even just one. At the end of that round, then you redetermine the starting player order. That's a game changer because then we reroll the dice and clean slate for the next round. First pick. Some of those action spots where you place it and you get to use, if there are 2 action spots of that color,
yeah.
Oh, you get both. You better believe you get both. And you're going to take advantage of all of that.
Like you did.
Like I did. I came in, and you know what? If it's a 3-pip action spot, you better believe I'm going to grab that 6 and put it there so I get the 3 coins. Oh, that what? Feels so good.
You know what? It's because there was no rats in this game.
I would say that, no, there were a couple of distractions. Tableau building in a game when it's not always necessary is a distraction for me. And I think in a couple of the plays, I got a little bit distracted by trying to get cards into my lantern bonus line. What do you call that? I don't know. Stack. Because when you flip cards over from the side of your board onto that stack, every time you use a lantern bonus, which is when you take a die on the left side of the bridge of the lower value, you also get to activate your lantern bonus, which is everything that you have on that line. So the more cards you add, it is kind of like tableau building, because now when you take that bonus, you're getting a bunch of stuff. And so I became a little bit focused on trying to fill that in, trying to get a lot of cards in there, when I would only activate it like one time after that.
Yeah, but doing that helped you too, because when you grabbed it from the castle or the temple, you got to do a white action.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So,
which I forgot for about half of our plays. And then I always reread the rulebook a few times throughout to make sure we're not missing anything. And that stood out to me, like, because I was thinking about it and I was wondering, there has to be something more to the castle bonus, because you move up, you spend the 3 mother of pearls or whatever those are called.
It's 2.
The 2.
So it's 2 to move up 1, 5 to move up 2.
Exactly. You move up and then you get to take the card where you move up 2 and put it onto your player board, which then serves the purpose of whenever you take the 6 die action on your board and you get all the bonuses from that row, you also get the action associated with where it lines up. That's kind of hard to explain, but that's how you get cards. But it takes a whole turn to do that when there are only 9 turns in the game. I was thinking there has to be something more to this. So I reread the rules. You do get to activate one of the lighter colored bonuses on the card when you take it. So that makes sense. That gives you that little bit of a bump.
Right. So by doing that, by building your little tableau, you did a Dave thing.
Okay, that was a distraction. And then also getting people in the castle was a distraction for me, because I wanted, again, it ties into the tableau building. I wanted to get as many people in the castle as possible so they could move up to get cards to go onto my board.
But I don't understand. I don't. I feel like
your distraction was the gardeners.
No.
Oh, you love those gardeners.
It's because the gardeners, ultimately, if you laid all your gardeners out on the higher ones, you were close to clearing 20-some points.
That's a lot of points.
Okay.
One of them was give you 9 points.
Yes, and I had that one and you didn't. You had a game where you only had 2 1.1s, and then you weren't even all the way up inside Temple, okay? And you were only up to 3. You were in the 2nd season of the Birdie track, okay? And you only had 1 soldier guy, samurai, in that one section, okay?
You guys sound like somehow cabin fever right now.
Because I'm just so
we just locked ourselves in for 5 days playing White Castle.
No, because
haven't seen the outside.
Okay,
should go get some fresh air.
Because you somehow won. It didn't make any sense.
You're like, this should have been a Julie game, huh?
Okay, no. See, what happened is when you take your turn, I'm like, oh, he takes forever. So then I grab my phone and I do 50 other things, right? So then I don't watch you take your turn. And then when I look up, I'm just like, wait, did he spend the rice? Did he spend the pearls? Did he spend the Amityville horrors? No.
The Amityville horrors?
I don't know, what are they called? The metal thingies.
The anvils. Or it was called steel, I think, in the game.
Oh, the steel thingies. So there were some times that you did not, because it would have made no sense. You were sitting at like 7 rice and you had put a farmer in, and I was like, did he pay? And I was like, I've already taken my turn, now I can't go back. And then your simple response would be, well, maybe you should pay attention. And I'm like, maybe you should take your moves faster, and then I'd pay attention.
Yes. So that's us just jumping in right out of the gate and talking about some of the excitement that we had in the game. How do you describe your overall experience with the White Castle, after 11 plays?
I want more. But this time, I sit eyes on board watching. Because that shouldn't have been a Dave game. It just shouldn't have been.
Okay, so what defines a Julie game versus a Dave game?
I don't know. When I play it, I can tell. Just like, I don't know what half the things are called. I called the thingy a Amityville horror thingy for the whole game. Not once did you correct me.
Because it doesn't really matter. I mean, other than thematically integrating yourself into the game.
I don't know. Julie games are strategy games.
Very long-term planning focused.
Which is why I feel like this one should have been a Julie game, because you could strategize what you wanted to do based off of the cards that were there.
And I would say what makes it a Julie game too is the limited nature.
Yes.
But okay, I was thinking about it because I thought the same thing when we set it up. I said, this game seems like it's tight and restrictive, and you're going to need to really plan out every action with purpose to make sure that everything that you do maximizes the opportunities that are available. That, to me, is a Julie game. But then I got thinking about it. Thinking about games that I've been good at, where I can find a way to tweak the gameplay in my favor. And this game didn't have that, but it is similar. And I'll explain what I'm talking about right now. So when we played Azul and San Juan,
yes,
2 things I loved about those games is that I could control the pacing of the game. And I found that if I do not rush the end of the game in those games and let it drag on a little bit too long, you can work up all of these complex, big winning strategies that yield you tons of points by just letting it go on 2 extra rounds or even 1 extra round. You'll complete all the colors in Azul, or you'll get all of those statues. You'll put all the cards underneath the bank.
I'll do the bank and stuff.
The harbor and the
end of game stuff.
There's the Holy Trinity in that game.
I do have a Holy Trinity.
Always do that. And I might get a little bit selfish and think, I wanted to stretch on a little bit long too, because I want my 3 statues, or I want it to go. There's no statues in this game. I'm just speaking metaphorically, comparing them. But this game, by default, is a very short game.
Yes.
With only 9 turns over 3 rounds. And that's why I did better, because when you're restricted by time, then that's where you falter. And this game restricted you on time, so I was able to pull ahead. And I almost felt like there was a point in this game. I wavered on this a little bit, because I started out thinking, okay, after our first play, there's a lot here that I think we're really going to love, and I can appreciate the design even in this first play. Then we played a few more games, maybe 3 or 4. I almost got to the point where I said, this game is too short. This game should be 1 more round. I've thought a lot about this, and it almost feels like you work toward building up this little engine with the cards that go onto your board, with the gardeners that go out and then they give you stuff at the end of the round if they're in the right place at the right time. But then the game ends like that. Like, boom, the game is done. Before you have a chance to even fire off that engine, maybe you get to once or twice feel like you had a moment in the game where you built up something and then it came to fruition. Mm-hmm. So in like Le Havre, for example, there's a short game. I do too. It's amazing. There's a short version and a long version. People always say play the long version. Don't worry about the short one unless you're doing a learning round. I think A Feast for Odin did that too, if I'm not mistaken. This game feels like, after like 5 or 6 plays, I thought we are playing the short version of the game. There should be one more round because then you would have a chance to see these things come to fruition. You would have a chance to maybe do what those gardeners activate one more time. You'd have a chance to get a good row of bonuses, or when you remove the meeple from your board and you use that action spot, it triggers a bunch of bonuses, and you can almost never, ever in this game get to the point where you feel like you've maximized the potential of any of these areas because it's so short. But that's the beauty of the game. Because it's so short, you can never do everything that you want to, but it's about what can you do with what you have. The game design itself is brilliant. I think this is a very, very streamlined game, and everything that is in the game is absolutely necessary to the experience of the game and the strategies that you can build around. There's nothing extraneous within the game.
Yes, that is valid. You're like, is that like...
I also found that when you lose a game, you have slightly less to say. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard the Aquasphere episode from season 3, season 2?
Yeah, go listen to Aquasphere.
Go listen to Aquasphere. You will hear a rant unlike anything you've ever heard in your life. When you beat me, like 9-1 in that game?
Was it 9-1? I thought it was like 10.
It was depressing.
Ooh, I loved that one. I loved how you had hope in your eyes.
I was like, this is a Stefan Feld game.
And then I was like, boom, boom, boom.
I take all your dreams from you.
Yeah, it was so satisfying. No, I really liked this game, even though I lost. There's just something about it. Next time, I'm going to watch you because I know you forgot to do your resources. I know you did. Because there was one time, there was several times I had to say, Dave, you shouldn't have 5 pearls. You need to subtract 2. Dave, you shouldn't have this much rice. You need to subtract however many. Dave, how did you go there when you never had 7 rice? Or whatever, 5 rice.
I am honest when I play and I do.
You are honest.
Sometimes the difficult thing, and this game has it a little bit, is when you have a turn and there's like 3 bonus actions that are triggered within that. Like, okay, I can do this bonus here, and then that lets me use a bonus die somewhere else. And I need to do that, and I need to pay my orange in order to do that. And then that triggers that action, move up this track. And then if you don't do everything in order in the moment that you have to pay for it, you get to the end, you've already forgotten to pay for that thing in the beginning. And then you take your next turn and you're like, I shouldn't have this much of this thing. And you kind of have to backtrack.
Yes.
That happened to me a couple times.
Yeah, that happened to you. Yes.
And I when I noticed, I would fix it. I shouldn't have this many mother of pearls. I'm going to subtract that off.
It happened more. And if I was not on my phone watching, my fault.
So there's the moral of the story. Don't distract yourself.
But I distract myself in chess. I still play on my phone in chess. Play on my phone in life all time. I need the distractions to play.
It is true. You need like an overstimulating type of environment to do well. That's why we always listen to music, which I like listening to music when we play.
You don't like the clicker.
The clicker.
So, you gotta pick and choose.
It's funny because you do employ some mind games. I've noticed when you play. If you give me a sense of
I know where this is going.
Rushing me in my turn, then it kind of distracts me, and then I take suboptimal moves. Like, we're just going to give an example because we are both into chess. We've talked about chess, but there's a certain chess player out there that we've watched a few videos of because he's a well-known chess player.
Yeah.
And you can see some of these mental techniques that he uses in these chess matches where he'll take a very long time on his turn and kind of like look off in the distance and let that clock run. And the other person's just squirming, like, just take your turn. And then he'll like rapid fire, like boom, 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 like take these moves in a row. That's all mental games. And you kind of do that to me when we play games. You're like the chess master.
You're like, you always give me an option that's good for me, but I know that the better option is out there, but you're trying to deter me from it by giving me this option.
Yeah, anytime
and then you
give
make
me
it sound
advice,
really good.
When you give me advice, like, oh, have you thought about doing this? It's always in your interest if you wanted me to do something else.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because I could see your like I could see the wheels in your mind clicking where you want to go somewhere where I specifically want to go. And I'm like, ooh, no. So then I quickly look at all of it, the things you need. And then I try to point your eyes to that. I'm like, oh, look, you really like the birdie track. If you do this and then do this and then do this, you'd be able to get like 3 birdies.
I'm like, oh, 3?
Yeah, you could get 3. You like 3.
That's so funny. I'd be curious at more than 2 players. I think this is a really good 2-player game.
Mm-hmm.
I think with more players, you do get more dice. But even with 2 players, those action spots, if you're not first in turn order, like you could really lose out on a good opportunity for an action. Like somebody could really block you out. But there's always a way with 2 players, you can still figure out other things to do. It doesn't completely derail your plans. Because, oh, maybe you blocked me from that particular castle action spot. And there's none left on the main game board, but I know that I want a castle action. How can I make that happen? Okay, there's that 5 die one at the bottom right of the board. On my player board, I have a bonus that'll let me do that. So I'll grab this die and use it for my player board bonus, which will let me trigger that action. So, oh, but I need an orange for that. So maybe I'll do this first. Well, I don't know if it's an orange. It's an orange colored disc that you use for the bonus actions when you trigger those. So a lot to consider in the game. And the cool part about the game too, I mean, we mentioned how short it is. Let me just pull this up.
This is like 25 minutes for us.
So the average game time of the White Castle for us over 11 plays was 29 minutes, which for a midway Euro game, by the way, this has some table presence. The fact that this, I mentioned this in our earlier impressions, but the fact that all of this can fit in the box that it does is pretty incredible.
Oh yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, because this is rated, so 3.05 on BGG on their complexity rating scale, which is exactly mid-weight. So I would say for a 2-player mid-weight Euro game that plays in under an hour, because you and I play really fast, so it might take somebody like 45 plus minutes to play this game. But once you know the game, we had some rounds of this that were 25 minutes. That's probably the fastest game of this weight that we've played, other than maybe a card game like Race for the Galaxy or something like that, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too. Maybe Azul.
Well, Azul is pretty on the lightweight side. I would say of like a Euro game.
Oh, like a Euro game in general?
Yeah, maybe like Marco Polo was pretty quick.
Was it?
Aquasphere,
why do I feel like that was such a long game?
Because it was mentally
stimulating,
challenging. I have to go back and look. I think that there's been maybe 1 Euro game of this complexity rating that was around 30 minutes. So we've played 25 to 30 minutes. I can't remember. I'll go back and look. But still, really fast game. And I personally enjoyed playing this game so many times because of the fact that I went through this kind of valley of, okay, maybe there's some issues I have with this game, but then playing it some more and realizing, oh no, these were intentional. And this is how the game was intended to be. I'm going to enjoy it for the experience that I believe the designers had in mind when they created this. I think that this game started potentially as a bigger game and longer game, and they trimmed it back, and that was needed.
Yeah, I'd say so too. I remember when we were talking about it in general. Well, not in general. Honestly, I think it was before our last 2 plays of the game. You did mention that you wish it had 4 rounds. And I was like, no, I don't want it to have 4. But hearing you change your mind now makes my heart sparkle.
Because you believe that it should be 3?
I believe 4? It should be 3, yeah. Even though, I lost. It's not about losing. You're like, it sounds like it's about losing. I'm like, no, it's because I feel like I really understood this game. So that's why I'm so hard on myself about losing.
I will say, I think the only thing that maybe I still believe should be tweaked is those gardening bonuses, or there should be a bonus that you get at the end of the 3rd round, because the gardeners you only get at the end of rounds 1 and 2. And that's tough to be able to play gardeners out that you can also take advantage of in the game. Mm-hmm. If you could trigger that one more time and then potentially get some bonus actions at the very end, to me, that would feel exciting. Like I worked out for this moment and here it's paying off.
What would be cool is, so that wishing well action is, if you go to that wishing well action, that you can decide to trigger one of your farmers, but you would need the rice to feed them.
Oh.
I think that would be a cool aspect. So then it's not like, oh, well, I just have to pay 3 coins. It still adds that layer of complexity because you still have to figure out how to get the food for it. But once you get it and you do the wishing well, I understand it's a 1 point, like 1 pit. But once you do that, it feels more rewarding and it doesn't feel so wasteful sending them there.
Okay. So at the bottom of the board, that 1 pip action where you get like the
Yeah.
resources. You can also trigger.
What it could be is you could get the resources or activate a farmer again or activate a samurai soldier guy. I don't know what those were called. The guys with the swords.
In the military.
Yeah, the military.
The military. Yeah, because that was another thing I thought of, because you place those out, you get the one-time bonus, and then they give you some end of game points, which are difficult to get because you also you need to put people in the military, but then also have people in the castle.
Yeah.
Because they're based off of how many people are in your castle. You can only do a lot of a little in this game. You can't do a little of a lot, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You can't do a lot of a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. But I did think with each of the 3 areas, if there was some ongoing thing that you could get for the people that you have there, other than just the guards is the only place where that happens.
Yeah.
That would be cool if there was a way to do that.
Yeah.
I know there's an expansion for the game. This I think it's the matcha expansion.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
And I wonder what that does. And there's also a 2-player only version of the game, White Castle Duo or Duo.
The matcha one sounds really cute.
Yeah, let's check out the matcha expansion when we do a resummoning someday. Well, first I have to ask.
Yes.
After playing it 11 times, will the White Castle be crowned by the court's laughter and bestowed upon the jester's shelf, or given a fond farewell with trumpets and tumbles?
Every time you do that, you kind of remind me of the lady from Face Off, where she says, like, let's talk about the tops. And she's like excited, you know? She's like, now let's talk about the bottoms.
Oh,
And I'm like, are you sad?
That's a funny show, by the way.
So the way you do it just kind of reminds me of that, because you're like, is it this or is it this? But it's the first one. I never remember what you specifically say. But yeah, huzzah.
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 It has been crowned by the court's laughter.
Yes, that.
And bestowed upon the jester's shelf.
Yes, I wish we had more time to play it more times. I understand that we're like, oh, we can have all the time that we want. But, you know, for those of you that keep up with us, we are getting married in the next coming months.
Yes, we are.
And so between planning and getting things arranged, we don't have enough time to play more than 10 really, unless it's a quicker game. So I wish we could. We will return to it for a resummoning, so that's fun.
Well, I think too, the times that we do play a game more than 10 is if we feel like there's more to explore. That was I think the whole point. We could continue playing this game 30 more times because we enjoy it so much. Do I feel like there's enough unexplored aspects of the game that we haven't touched? I think that we're good at 11.
You're right.
Although I want to come back and play it, but let's say a game had like 15 different player factions or whatever that we hadn't played yet with, and we wanted to try all those out. That would be a different story, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That is what it initially was.
But we'll save those kinds of plays for maybe future games within our 10 by 10 challenge.
And
we'll see.
Watch us revisit it, and then I just take the crown back.
With the matcha, maybe.
With the matcha.
We'll see. But thank you for taking that journey with me into the White Castle. Happy to have it in our collection for years to come, maybe.
Of course. And it was your birthday gift, so that's super cool.
Well, we're 1-1 now because you loved A Feast for Odin. I loved the White Castle. And the next game that we'll bring out in our birthday line, you'll have to see.
Oh, okay. I see. But yeah, thank you so much for playing with me. And thank you so much for listening to us this week. Be sure to join us next week. If you'd like to keep up with us, like photo-wise, you can find us on Instagram. Instagram is dicejesters. If you have any game recommendations and or questions or a query for the court where we ask your question in one of our episodes, you can email it over to thedicejesters@gmail.com. And we are also on Patreon. So our Patreon kind of has like some behind the scenes things. There's Dave Diaries where he discusses how he feels about things where I don't hear any of it. So it's a pretty raw side of Dave. So there's those. There is some creative videos. You're like, again, with the whale. And I was like, I wasn't going to say the whale.
You just said the whale.
I'm like, but creative videos, some creative photos that we don't share to Instagram just because they don't really work with our flow. So those will be there. And then there's also our audio for monthly updates. And so you can find out what we did in October and of course in November and the other months and whatnot. But as always, be sure to play games with the ones you love.